Hello, Dan. Just sorry about that. James here. Had a little disruption here, but this is consistent with the situation down in. There was senator that made a threat to his black militia, and I made previous videos about, you know, about Jam Master Jay and NFAC militia, and this guy, from what it was told that even coming from the founding member herself, that he made a threat to this man, and he made a threat to the members of that organization. And I gotta say this: I said, this guy, whoever this Clay Higgins is, Senator Clay Higgins, got to be the most ignorant individual I have ever come across. Number one, why would you make a threat to an individual, to an organization like that, who posed no threat, who didn't come down, they didn't start no riots? I mean, they didn't come down, and they execute. They're basically going by the amendment, following the amendment right about, and motivating the people to basically know the laws and know the safety of protecting themselves. Why would you even threaten something like that when many of your fellow politicians, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, trying to get in office, and you make a threat to somebody, to a black man who's raising up in the ranks as a militia and getting really some attention? Why would you even do something like that? I could phantom some to even threaten somebody, for one thing, because you disagree with the way they handled it. Now, the organization didn't do anything wrong. They don't cause no problems. They're not a group that gonna attack police officers or law enforcement. They don't threaten judges. They don't even threaten individuals. Why would you even make a threat to someone who, just like any other those militia groups, that they practice their amendment right, and they serve and protect and whatever, and they exercising their right? And so this guy, he brings his militia groups up because he feels that there's a people are being violated with the constitutional right, and a lot of people don't know what their constitutional right is, and that's basically what is information with constitutional right, with people bearing arms, not directing to going down to shoot somebody lest they're being shot at. I mean, and there's people down there feeling bold, and they're trying to challenge this group, and they got to be the most dumb, ignorant ass people. When you see a man have that much influence that he says we're international, basically telling you, he can pull ranks with people, and get allies and comrades across the world, and you gonna go and challenge somebody, and they can come up on the American shores like that, and you got these Rambo thinking that we can take them on, and I'm like, you're not really thinking too well, aren't you? Do you really want to go back to the time of the Civil War, where people were injured? Do you want to cause more bloodshed because of someone like a Clay Higgins had opened up his damn mouth? I mean, and that wasn't too smart. And I don't blame the founder. I said I would press charges against you too for making an idle threat, which he didn't make no idle threat towards you. But just because they were just, there to execute their amendment rights and show up, they didn't jump on no people. They didn't just go around jumping on white people, put on guns on officers or anything like that. And it's like you get so super, and people like you, and people follow you, whoever following and suggesting this, it's not even looking at the whole thing. It's just he's doing just like any other militia group, exercising their right, unless they go by the Constitution what they're allowed to do. In its provoked by attack, they have the right to defend themselves under the Constitution. So but you figure that before you make an idle threat, you should talk to some of your representatives. When any time you make a threat toward a civil citizens that exercise their right, their constitutional right, and then they know their constitutional rights, it's just not very smart. And maybe some people, I've heard some stories about parts of down in areas, Louisiana and Texas and different places, but there was a time that you could do what you want to do. But you don't understand that them days of that mindset is going to come to an end. Because but if you get something greater that coming on American shores, ain't amount of guns ain't going to stop it. It's not wise to mess with a man that can bring them, basically, if they want to. I'm not saying that they are, but I mean, it would be like trying to bring, I'm just going to say this for example, I don't think that would happen, but like practically an invasion. And you got just imagine, 100,000, including the comrades, coming around and invade your little city. And to the point you look like it's doggone marching in your country like the Chinese army, and where they got 4, 5, 6 doggone regiments of black people. Now whoever want to challenge that, they got to be these stone cold stupid or fool to try to mess with somebody they're well equipped and they're well pissed off, and so don't provoke the bear. That's just common sense. But meanwhile, let's not go in that direction. And I think you owe that man an apology, because he wasn't even on your radar. He wouldn't even think about you. But you the kind of person, that senator down in Louisiana is the kind of person that would spark a war and would get everybody all jacked up and messed up. And like, what the heck? And you have to literally, it'd be like something like Tulsa, Oklahoma. Get somebody come in there and just bomb the damn shit because of some arrogant ego, and then cost people their lives and cause people destruction. Because people like with that kind of mindset, you don't understand. Your very words can provoke a war. And so just something to think about. And so the best thing to do, hey, let somebody exercise they constitutional rights. As long as they ain't coming there to harm nobody, they ain't coming here to provoke no violence or something like that. And people don't. He's not down there to challenge any other militia or any other organization. He's just down there to inform. He's not down there. But I don't know. It just seems like some people looking for something and trying to read into something. And basically, you find out the instigator is the one at the top. They showed up in Kentucky. I said there was no violence with them. They had all 3 or 4 news station on them, and the organization, the militia, was sitting in the grass, just waiting, and stood across from the National Guard and the local police. So, and I seen it for myself on a couple of stations, even on other people's channel that had actual media coverage, and they did not one time act up. It was civilized on their end. Now on the other end, the other people that protesters, the people that were protesting, some people were trying to spark up some things where they was faced with the other militia, but nothing did go down. The militia from that organization kept cool, and he said what he said, but it was not down there to challenge the police. It was not to challenge local government, like in a threatening stance. And and you got these fools ready to show up, and I mean, it's like, oh my God, they're gonna loot the whole, burn down the whole city. It's like, I mean, that's the first of all, they had, if it would have got pretty bad, and that National Guard was already there to back up the police, so it wouldn't have got to that point. That's what they're trained there to do. But someone like the militia, it wasn't even necessary to even show up, but they tried to be like Rambo heroes or whatever. Oh, we want to protect the citizens. We like gotta protect the citizens. Called the police, the state police, and the sheriff and the state troopers and National Guard. That's all. They don't need your assistance. Basically, they can handle it. They train. They don't. Some of them train not to go and pull like what those detectives did down in Louisville, start acting like the Keystone Cops and start shooting up someone else's department. They don't fire. They don't move unless it's necessary to have some restraint on themselves. But you got some yahoos that wants to start a bunch of mess with people. That it's not very wise to do that right now. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on, and so basically, what's going on, like in just that state, like in the other state, there's a lot of things going on. Why would you start something with somebody, then threaten them, then put their picture, put the family picture, and make it seem like he's like you trying to put him like on a level like a Bin Laden, whatever. And I said that is a threat. And I said, and you got some stupid ass ignorant individuals that's gonna try to hurt that man. But I said it wouldn't be a wise thing to do that. Especially when he's practicing and he's smart, he knows his constitutional right. And I said, I made a video this months ago. I said, I told you this man is dangerously smart. He's intelligent. And like I made in the video, like I said, he's not your typical, we just fell off the fruit truck Negro. This man knows his stuff. I've heard how the way he knows the law. He knows the constitutional law. He knows. I mean, man did all the studying before he formed and know what to do, just like the mother militias know what to do and know what not to do. It's the same way. And, people in America are going to have to understand this. Anybody can form an organization long it's not threatening to the government or the land. They can have any kind of organization, but when your organization do something out of bounds and inflict harm or cause problems to other people, then that would evoke something like that. But I don't see that they're not going to do something like that. I mean, they haven't challenged the government. They haven't threatened any officials. This militia group had nothing, anything like that. It was the constitutional rights, and all they did was just proud to be black. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, I don't. It's not like let's go in and just attack anybody. It's like I don't see something like that. But you got some ignorant individuals that are like that. They go around attacking it for people based on their religion, based on their sexual orientation, based on what they look like, and they just feel like they feel bold to get themselves liquored up and get bold enough to go and try to harm somebody, go rape them or rob them. And it's someone that looked like Senator Higgins down there, or someone that looked like him, and that's the doggone truth. So why would you, again, you made this thing during the time between election year, where representatives in your state trying to get elected, and then your stupid behind make a threat to a United States citizen who's executing his right, who pose no threat to the state of Louisiana or any of the law enforcement or anything. You call that out. And that's it. I don't know, maybe some of you people have this ignorant mentality. Like, yeah, you guys, But when you threaten somebody, that's just common sense. They're gonna come and they're gonna come show up at your door. That's just dumb. And especially if a man knows know what he's doing. He and what are you scared of? What are you afraid about? They're not coming down there to go and start jumping on them, pulling out innocent civilians, start beating because they're white or whatever. They're not down there for that crazy old mess. They down there just they want some answers because there was some injustice, and they exercising their right and going within the law. So, why is people making it sound like they be like this? That they're trying to push something, trying to provoke something. It sounds like to me, this is what he was trying, and those other people who believe in him, like, come on, boys, let's go down and we'll teach him. And it's like, next thing you know, you got a regiment, 3 or 4 regiments of black people coming invading your doggone city. Like, what the fuck? And you just think that you're just gonna show up and that's could be bringing regiments of people, and it's you're gonna say something to practically a whole half of a city block probably come down. Like I said, some people they do stuff and they don't think about the consequences. So if I was him, I would try to apologize to that man. Put down the ego and pride, and because not only you could be making a whole big mistake in your area in Louisiana. Like I said, these people have to learn. This used to be a time you had people of color, as they would say, in fear. Them days is over. We are at the end of the end. So right now, people are in mode. People are mad. People are not working right now. Some people are about to clock out. Some people, so people don't care right now. And I hope they don't get to that point. But people gonna have to. Some of these people who got this mindset that they can just say whatever they want because their granddaddy did it, their daddy did it, and their great granddaddy did it. Well, this ain't your time. You're not gonna continue to do it. It's time's up because 400 years is up when it comes to when people of African descent. Injustice is coming to a close. And now the barrel's about to flip in the other direction. Not the way you think, but the way the Most High moves. Because a lot of innocent blood, innocent individual, unjustified, and people that want to lie and craft and con, you're going to pay a price. Right now, the big thing is with one of the group is African Americans is one of the very very groups that seem to be paying a dear price as far as lives. I mean, there are other people who are losing their life, but I'm talking about in mass numbers to the point that it has affected the environment where they live. And somebody has caused that. Somebody has they have caused this to happen, and they're getting the joy out of it. But they don't understand there's gonna come a time that the people ain't gonna be able to sit back, enjoy, and be murmuring. It's not gonna be funny when it creeps back to your door. And it's like they don't care as far as these people, because they can die off. They're not gonna die off. They're not gonna die, and you can't put enough people away. So the wise thing to do is just say, hey, I made a bad decision. I made a bad mistake of calling you out publicly, especially when someone imposed no threat. And you put the threat down there and say if they come down here, Now you know it's like that's pretty much like a challenge. Now you didn't challenge somebody. Like I dare you, I challenge you. Oh, you doubt and challenge me? You know, there was a this happened to a man that was in the Bible, and it was one occasion it was David, and there was a man that insulted David, the King David, and so when he got back the word that this man he ain't gonna come, he can't disrespected King David. King David came and showed up on his doorstep and told him to bring his behind down here. And I mean, he's ready to kill the man because he disrespected him as a leader, as a king leader. And I'm not saying that this don't misconstrue this, but what I'm saying is when you challenge somebody, I mean, and David showed up with all his army and told that man, get out here, because you know you disrespect him as a man. And this was back in the Bible, and it was the one other man that I forgot. There was one story I remember reading where, you know, the story about with Jezebel, she was saying all this mess, and after she had done all this destruction and caused men to die, so she ran when she heard the men of God, the man was coming from the Most High. And then, you know, she hid behind her eunuchs and stuff like that. And at one point, you know, she's in the castle. She's talking to Master. She's standing in her castle. And he said, and I forgot how the way it went, but they threw her ass and she off the doggone balcony, and she instantly died, because she felt like she was big and bad enough. What I'm saying is. What I'm saying in both stories is, mister, when someone tells you, don't ever make a threat to somebody if they got when the army shows up. That's the same thing you talk as anybody. You threaten the president, you know, somebody gonna show up. So, you threaten the president of the United States, or if you're in any country. He's saying he tearing you down, and then you show his picture, and you see what happened. So sometimes it's not wise to do some things you do. It's not very wise, because some people just don't take things lying down, and some people just don't talk a lot of crap. There's some people that come to do it, and they bold enough, and they don't care. And we live in an hour. People don't care. They don't care that they have to lose their own life. You got a bunch of young. I heard one man said this earlier. You know, he said, "Y'all don't understand these youngins. You got a generation that don't care what they got to lose." And if you get to the point that you get a generation, this 1960 we used to hit these son of bitches across the head. Yeah, you're gonna come across that. You're not gonna like what you see. They ain't gonna hit you. They gonna try to kill you. It ain't about this ain't the movies. This ain't like the movies. Some people out here, and when they backs up against the wall, when they ain't got nothing to lose, you better hope that part of them don't rise up, because when they say, I ain't taking this no more, and they go to a whole different level, if it means, I mean, there's some people. And they leave a life for their freedom, but they're going to take some people out. Now, if you want to get yourself in that doggone mentality, you know, you keep pushing the button, because whatever you push, it's going to answer. So what I'm saying is, it's not always good to make a threat to somebody. That's the point of it. It's not good to threat and think that you're going to hide, especially when someone know how to get to you. They know how to get at you. And so that's not very wise, you know, for him to even do something like that. Why would you even say that about that man? He wasn't messing with you. But just because he picked up a little smoke, just because he made some threat, is he make a speech, it may seem like to some people was threatening, but no, it's just empowering. You know, did the city get burned down because he said it? No. Because that was, oh yeah, he threatened to burn down the city, you know. His group didn't go down there and burn down the city. Now the other group of people, they might have tried to attempt to do that, but it was his group that, and it was his motivation not to do that. His motivation was basically to answer the call for injustice, but we're gonna go behind the scenes to figure out what's going on. And sometimes somebody needs the answer because some people don't have much information. That's why he showed up, because he knew something was wrong. It's like some people show up and they just teeter-totter, they teeter in their own ways. And he even told the people that day that you're not gonna like what was about to come. So he even warned them right before the thing in Kentucky happened where the police was let off. He even said it on his own video. So, I mean, the man, he was telling you. So he didn't threaten nobody, and in fact, he said get along with the police. They had good conversation. Get along with the individuals. It was a good, pleasant conversation. So it was no threat. So, you know, it's just crazy. But people, they got that online and they start chopping up this video and trying to make him seem, what is he, some kind of agent or something like that? Like, it's like, you idiot. It's like, oh, he's a man just that was able to go to a different level to get answers for some people that have been wanting to know what's going on. That's it. I just don't see. But yeah, that senator down in Louisiana, that wasn't too smart. And I don't know, maybe I don't know how many people, black people live in your town, whatever. Maybe you can do that too. But like he said, not all black people are the same, and they're not scared. There's some people, they're not scared. There's some of them not scared. They're tired. And they say with all the injustice going on, this is just adding fuel to the fire. And it's not they're just going to start jumping on you're going to get at the individuals that are going to get in their way. They think they bad enough and bold enough and threaten enough and do like this and this knucklehead did. And I said, you're going to find out that someone's not playing because they're not scared of you because of your position and your power. I mean, there used to be a time you could do that, but the time's closing up. It's really winding down to it. And like, you know, when you're in an election year with the COVID-19, you're in an election year and some representatives want to get in and do the right thing for their citizens of their state, in their town. Why would some individual in office would do something like that, for making it probably better or worse for his constituents? So it's just, you're not very bright to do something like that. You should check your emotions at the door. And especially when you hold an office and representing, whether it's the Democrat or Republican Party, it would be wise. And here they're trying to get votes out of that pride, the African American community, and you being a jackass. So that's not very smart. Then you threaten an individual who's African American. Sorry, I don't know if you want to kiss her or something, but who has done no wrong. And I don't know. Some people are just there's some people, you're not too understanding what time it is. You don't get it. We come into era. Your opinion doesn't matter. I always wear shit. Your opinion. Yes, you have an opinion, but it doesn't matter. But when you start acting out on what you do, don't be surprised at what you get the results. So, yeah, that was not a smart move. And I'm just saying, from look at what time of era we at. You can cause someone that one party, whatever party you belong to, lose because of something like that. They try and get the African American vote in Louisiana, and you're dumb behind make a threat to a man who's African American who's practicing his constitutional right, didn't issue no threat to any organization, no person, no people not like that down there. So you and if that was some of your constituents, I'd be pissed. Because right now is politics. And everybody wants to go back in the office. And so the people in that state or in that city where you at, or that town where you at, they take a note of that. Then you open up something that now you cause a division. You brought the division down there, even though it was already division, but you made it worse. Obviously, you're not an apple not too far from the tree. And there's some people that can be so in position of power, so called, but they have a lick of damn sense. They don't have no common sense not to use the head, especially if you use the media or local media, and then put a person's picture of an organization that's in the country and threaten that you're going to shoot them or their members. Dummy. And no matter what organization. I mean, and they can show what, essentially somebody can possibly show what half the doggone state. And so, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you and your 300 could do that, but I wouldn't advise it pissed off with that many black folks coming down to your city with with AR-15s and guns. That's what's not be a bright idea, and get mouthy with them, because it just, and doing what kind of climate we live in. Don't do this, because you're bringing in other things that come off. And I hope that you don't, someone down there is stupid enough not to push these people to have to do something because they want to execute their constitutional right. I pray that something like that don't happen, because it's going to fall back on that senator. Because he's the big instigator. And when you in a high office or position, people expect you to have a civil balance. And I think that there's some people they don't understand. You're not a civilian. You when you're a public official, you just can't doing the same thing and don't think that no consequences coming to you. That's common sense. You in the public eye. So I don't know. Here we in election year, where Democrats and Republicans, and everybody need everybody's vote. You need the majority of white and some black and Latino to put the numbers in so that select his constituents in office. And you're down there, and then this stuff rise up. And I know that Louisiana is going to probably be so. Just think about that. And then it's on the internet too. And then if it gets social media, now you're really screwed. I mean, like I said, now is not the time to make a situation worse. When the situation already worse, where people losing the economy. The situation already worse because we're in the COVID-19. The situation already worse. So people need to use common sense and not provoke something. That just be the wise thing to do. And then you pick with somebody and you don't know. Some people have that kind of influence. I mean, some people don't know. Some people can inspire hundreds. Some people have the voice inspiring millions. They could be that thick. And to me, from what I observe about this guy in his militia group, the black militia group, he got that kind of influence. Trust me. And before I've seen it, and I ain't really follow him up. But when the last couple of times, the last 2 or 3 months, I seen that man and looked at it and I said, yeah, that man got it. Whatever it is, he got it, and he has a heavy influence. If he said he gonna get up an army, I believe he can do it. I believe it. I believe people. I believe we can have allies. And then he knows more about geopolitics and everything. He know more about, so he knows what's going on. He keep in contact with people, and it's just, the United States is already on the edge already because of some stuff that they done. And so these are, I guess, the people that just want to get at the United States. And I'm just saying this would not be the wise thing to do. And just something to think about, because some people don't think it can go there. It can go there. I mean, it's civil war can break out in different parts of the world. What makes you think it can't break out in this land? It did it before. We had it before. Doing the Blue Coast versus the Gray Coast. What makes you think it won't happen again? I mean, too much bloodshed have been shed in this land because of stuff like that. Because of politics and attitudes and egos, trying to control another people, trying to control the economy. So, again, excuse me. So really, the senator, he needs to think about that. That this is not the. And when you're trying to get some individuals, you're trying to win the black vote for those representatives, and those people, not just the black vote, but any vote, that then people make you seem that you make a threat to an individual and to his organization who posed no threat, who wasn't even in crosshairs of thinking. Now you didn't spark something, and that's just common sense. And no matter if you are a person in a position, whether you're mayor or whether you're a senator or governor, you should not say anything out of bounds against any group of people, because you never know. So that's my partake on it. But yeah, that guy, he need to apologize. He really need and make it right with that dude of the militia group, because that man was not. He's not coming. It has them no, and I've seen the video of him in their group in different scenes. They haven't caused no conflict. They don't taunt the police. They didn't taunt the National Guard. They don't taunt things. They don't say nothing. It's very organized. They just exercise that wearing armor and guns like the other militia groups, but they just happen to be black. And so it makes you wonder. And I agree. Why is it that the black militia can't exercise their group, but the other militias that do? It's about patriot. They own, they're patriotic in their own way. They in their freedom of expression. What's wrong with that? And you see, this double standard, and it show America in a different light too, because that man, he's exposed. Let America be exposed of a hypocrite. You saying one thing, you're trying to be righteousness, but you're not being right by your citizen, because they doing the same thing that's under the Constitution. They without causing not breaking no laws that would cause them to put people in danger or endanger the citizens or danger the government or the local officials, anything. So why would you even do that? But I just wanted to chime on this one, ladies and gentlemen. And just some people, that would be the message to the senator in Louisiana. You need to really think about what you say in the future. You really need to think about that. And especially when it comes to election time. Let's look on that alone, because the public's view can go sway from one way to the other way. And, and if it was ever supposed to be some little civil breakout or whatever, and people it's because of something you said and you opened up your mouth, that can go against you. Because this is a guy that caused some mess, and hopefully you don't have to cost somebody their life because of saying something violent and making an idle threat. That's not wise. So I got some people and like I mentioned earlier, this guy is nothing to play with. There are people thumb down my video. They probably, I don't know, I ain't read the comments, but they probably call me all kind of names. But I was just saying, I said I knew that this is coming. You don't know. Some people got that kind of potential. They have that kind of following that they command masses. And there are people, he's opened up their eyes. And sometimes when people get tired of being pushed around, bullied around, that's my brother. I'll call back later. Yeah, it just ain't wise. It just ain't wise to go around threatening people. Just not wise. So the lesson in life is, it's one thing to have opinion, but it's the one thing you don't issue a threat. That's the point about it. You cannot like a person, but when you threaten a person, that's a whole different ball game. So I just what I wanted to say. They intended for this to be as long, but hey man, to the people out there, this is a whole different season. This is a whole different time. There's some people are scared and there's some people are not afraid. And given it the history, what happened in the past, it's stirring something up in the present. And this time, some people willing to die to finish it off. Some people, if it means, and they don't care. So if you don't care, you get to some people that, hey, we can do this, do it. But if you push it to that point, be careful. We are in that time. And people are not scared no more. And you see what happened and it really was a messed up situation. But you see what's going on, and with the sheriffs out there in L.A. and some individual tried to take out two sheriffs because they keep seeing something, keep provoking something, and see what happened was it was just these cops, some of these police officers who choose to use the badge in the wrong way, but they have cost other officers practically almost their lives because they just want to keep doing the same thing in what they do. They don't want to police properly. And now you have people out there that's trying to literally try to take out the police. That tells you what type of period we live in. It used to be a time when the police used to respect the police, but now people don't respect the police. Especially when you see what happened in Louisville, Kentucky, and different places like that, where someone didn't shoot back, but you just go on and just harm somebody who posed no threat, but simply ask a question, and the next thing you know, they're on the ground and they're gone. So what I'm saying is, people. I said, if people willing to come after a police officer, and I mean, it's to the point that some people when they take out certain police by themselves. That's how it's crazy. It's gotten, and he was two police officers in the same vehicle. And that's it. That's why I said, people, what I'm basically saying, you do terroristic things come back on you. That's basically what it is. And see, people have done things and try and be in a position to do what they do, but they become a victim of what they do. And no matter if it's in civilian world or and it's supposed to be in the people that's supposed to be policing the land. But if you do something corrupt, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back on you, and it's gonna pay in some form or fashion. See it, and that's the truth. It don't necessarily have to be someone coming at you. It could be a situation. There have been officers that died in accidents. There was one officer that hurt one gentleman down there. I forgot what state it was, and I don't know. It might have been Louisiana. It might have been one of the other states where he was a state trooper, and he lied on the man and said the man wrecked his car. Well, to kind of find out, he practically murdered the man when he was in custody, and then while the man was in his custody. So when the state find out, the officials find out almost 6 months to a year later what this officer did. He was about to get fired. He got into an accident and he's dead. And that was something that happened. And like I said, you can't. What I'm saying is, you can't keep executing wrong and think that you're gonna be justified in executing wrong when you clearly you're doing something wrong, but you think you have the backup and the wherewithal to keep doing what you're doing. Because that's why I said we live in a different time. And some people don't believe that they're going to keep doing what they do. And it was an incident, I think it was in Chicago. A captain got shot. Some civilian shot a police officer in Chicago. And I don't know what they said was he didn't have too good of a record. When this was a Chicago police officer. And I'm not advocating on either side, but I'm trying to show you it don't necessarily have to be violence by another person. It's by circumstances. And so this man, so the one who caused this other black man to get killed in this one state, this one city, some people probably know it. And this was a state trooper. I believe it was a state trooper, and When he found out what he did, he's about to get fired. And before they get to him, he got into a crash. He died. Yeah. So there is a circumstances to everything, consequences to everything that you do. You can't keep doing things and think that you're gonna and cover up and get away with it. You can't keep doing evil things and cover up. And the reason why this thing was sparked up, all this stuff, all this protest and bring out all these different groups of entities, because some people want to keep the system going on, but they don't understand it's going to be cut. That even though it's casualties on this side, but it's going to be casualties on this side, because and even as someone who's wearing the badge, and it was a situation down there in Texas. It was down in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas was going through some stuff, man. People try to take out the police off. It was one man that rammed before the incident with the one gentleman that shot and killed 4 Dallas police officers. You had another individual that rammed his truck into the police station. What I'm telling you is that every time these police doing something, they bring it on other people. Are not going to have sympathy for them. And so, as they keep putting these innocent civilians and don't take them in proper custody without literally putting them to death, then it's going to be death over here in some form or fashion. Because there's going to be some, and this is what we're living in a time, and I don't think people understand we're in a time where people ain't going to take that crap no more. They're not going to take it. And then it seemed like the media try to paint a certain enemy, that made a certain people to look a certain way, and try to paint the image. But the image is not going to is not always the image who is going after and committing a crime and causing some officer's death. It ain't going to be what you think. Sometimes the officers who it happened to is the officers that people that do that look like much them, because they got some inner hatred towards police. And nobody want to talk about that. They want to keep down the logo, especially when it comes to media. And because there was a situation up there in Toledo, Ohio, this happened to. And they didn't even show who the suspect was. They killed the police officer. The suspect was a white officer. It was a domestic thing going on. Guy walked, so the officer went to go and do what he did, and boom, he shot him. Then the coward took his life. And he was a young officer. He was 26 years old. This happened in Toledo, Ohio. What I'm saying, you reap at the end of this video, basically you reap what you sow. And them officers keep doing and think that they're going to keep doing what they're doing. But they don't know that they're probably making that other officer on the force who trying to do the right thing, they make it hard for them. Because they get corrupt and they get off. And this is what's sparking all this stuff is going on now. Because they're not doing it the right way, the just way. So you have these things that happen. But this what brought this situation with the militias group and these other different entities to come, the protesters. Because if they did they ain't none of this would even happen. And so when I'm getting back to what I'm saying, then this senator goes and make a threat. You fuel. It's saying you're fueling the fire. And some people's their very own words can fuel the fire. They don't even know. They don't have common sense enough to know that your very words. Because no, I got position. I can do whatever I want. No, you can't do whatever you want to do. Because it's going to become a time. It's consequences. consequences don't care what position you have in this world. They don't care what your position is. You can have a medical problem. They don't care what position you is. You could be highly educated, rich with a whole bunch of money. People don't. Consequences don't care what your circumstances is. When something happens, it happens, and you can fall a great fall. All men and women have done this, whether they didn't have the least to the rich of the rich. They all fall. They go in one place, sometimes to the hospital. If some come out of the hospital, some don't come out of the hospital. Some go straight to the morgue and go straight to the grave. And that's anybody equally. That's me just being practical and being real. So that's my take on it, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I hope you guys, just that senator down there in Louisiana, you need to think before you speak. Any individual, don't make a threat towards an individual on social media or on local media. And I don't care what position you have, because you're asking for something. That's common sense. Don't think because you got, like I said, don't think because you got power. It's common sense. So next time, people out here need to start using some wisdom out here. Be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. Be careful what you say. And one thing it said, whatever the mouth speak, whatever come out of your lips, you manifest your great nightmare. And that's what that man probably did, because it's what come out of his own lips. That's why it provoked that. And if someone wanted to go behind and lose their behind someone like that, I would seriously think about getting away from an individual like that, or any individual. But anyway, take care. Y'all have a good day out there. Have a good evening where you at in mainstream America.